Alright, what's up YouTube? Welcome to my channel, and today we're going to talk about ways you can come up with an idea for a business, and more specifically, some certain methods that you can use to really just identify where a business opportunity exists. And I'm going to state each one, describe it, and then offer one or two examples of what this actually looks like in practice so that you can really understand them fully. And I know there's a lot of people out there who have dreams of one day owning their own business. And I just wanted to make this video to really illustrate the idea that coming up with a good business idea does not always boil down to coming up with some superior creative new product or service or some groundbreaking technological discovery. There are many, many ways in which business ideas can come about. And there are certain things you can kind of teach yourself to be aware of when you're just going about your daily life that will help you identify these. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So, the first way is taking advantage of adverse public sentiments that exist in a specific industry. Now, what do I mean by this? There are many industries that have certain sentiments that exist, or more specifically, widespread beliefs about them that society never really thinks to challenge. So, some examples of this is the air travel industry. When you're flying on a plane, it's a time consuming process that usually involves a lot of waiting and customs and waiting to check in your bags, that type of stuff. Or if you're buying products from a smaller boutique shop from their online store, usually you expect that means you'll be waiting for those products to arrive at your doorstep longer than if you had just ordered them on Amazon, for example. So those are examples of adverse public sentiments that would exist towards a specific industry. So let's take an example of a company called Casper. So Casper is an e-commerce website that sells mattresses online. And the sentiment towards the mattress industry before Casper was there was that if you wanted to purchase a mattress, what you would do is you'd go into a large store, usually talk to a salesperson, and have them try and sell you some type of mattress. And if you ended up buying one, you would then have to get it transported back to your house, or you would have to take it back to your house. And the whole process was just very cumbersome. And people just accepted that as that's the way it is. That's just how mattress shopping is, and you just had to live with that. So Casper challenged this by coming up with an efficient way of shipping mattresses right to people's homes in a compact box, taking out this whole process of going to the store, meeting the salesperson, picking the mattress while the salesperson watches you, and then getting the mattress back to your home. And customers loved this idea. It was convenient for them, it was less time consuming, it made the process of buying a mattress a lot more comfortable, and thus Casper became pretty successful. Now, granted, the company is a public company, so information on them is publicly available, and they have not been traditionally profitable, but the idea is the same. You find some aspect of an industry that's being overlooked or has some negative sentiment towards it, and come up with a solution for it that really changes it. So, one common industry that we're seeing a lot of this now is the education technology industry, or ed tech. A lot of entrepreneurs are looking at the modern education systems and they see them as outdated and archaic, especially in terms of what's being taught at schools, but also how teachers track student performance in a classroom setting. And they're trying to come up with an innovative solution, and so far no one has really been able to crack the code, but we'll see what happens in the future. Another prime example of this is Tesla and how they innovated in the electric car space. Before Tesla came around, no one was really interested in electric cars just because they didn't look all that aesthetic. They looked kind of dumb. And what Tesla did better than anyone else was make a good looking electric car that people were proud to be seen in. So you can see how if you're willing to take advantage of and challenge the norms that exist within a certain industry, you can potentially generate some really interesting business ideas. Okay, so the next way is supply chain innovation. So this is basically finding some creative way to cut out a costly aspect in a supply chain in a specific industry to generate cost savings, which then makes the company more efficient than the competition, so you can offer lower prices without sacrificing the product or service quality. And we'll look at some examples of this. So one obvious example is Uber. And what Uber did was innovate in the taxi industry. Traditionally, what taxi companies did was hire their own taxi drivers. They would get the cars, they'd have to buy the cars, and then they'd split the taxi fee revenue with the drivers. And this whole process carried significant costs because you had to have a vetting process for the taxi drivers prior to hiring them. The taxi companies had to buy their cars and had to be maintained and insured, but Uber found a way to cut all of this out by just creating a peer-to-peer platform. So Uber calls their drivers driving partners. They're not employees, they're driving partners. so they have no obligations to the drivers, as all their platform is designed to do is connect a customer to a nearby driver, and then they take a cut of the fare charged to the customer. Another prime example of this is in the movie The Founder. So this is the movie about the rise of McDonald's, and there's a scene where Ray, the main character, is introduced to the idea of having this milkshake mix in a packet rather than using actual milk for his milkshakes. And the problem with actual milk is actual milk required refrigeration, which required space within the store, and also had greater electricity cost associated with it. So by cutting out the need for refrigeration, he was able to save a lot of money doing this. And this can take many forms. It doesn't just have to be the two I talked about. For example, if you come up with some very efficient method of developing software for a software company that enables that software company to send out patches and updates to their software more quickly than competing companies, this is something that customers would probably like and something that creates a competitive advantage. So there are many examples of this, and you can see how creating a successful business doesn't even require a new product idea. It can just be something that makes a company more efficient and cuts cost, which allows them to charge lower prices. Okay, so the third and final way of what I'm going to talk about is what I'm going to call category arbitrage. So this is taking a traditional product category and marketing and branding it as if it's something else, typically something that sells for more. So we'll take the example of a snack bar. So just a regular snack bar that you can buy in grocery stores. These usually don't cost a lot. Maybe they're somewhere around 50 cents or $1 for each one. But if you take this regular snack bar and you market it as a high-end, nutrients-rich protein bar designed for people who like being active, and most importantly, you don't find these new protein bars in the grocery stores with other snack bars, you sell them in the vitamins and supplements section so that customers believe that it's a product of higher quality. You can take what was originally a 50 cents to $1 sale and turn it into a $3 sale, for example, because people are usually okay with paying that much for what they perceive to be a higher quality protein bar. And thus the company is able to earn superior profit margins when compared to competition. And this is exactly what a company called RX Bar did. And I'd encourage you to read about this company a bit more if you are interested. But the key advantage they had was their ability to market fitness products to fitness enthusiasts and use unconventional packaging to kind of capture the interests of their customers. And they certainly had a product that was superior than other snack bars in terms of the healthiness of it. There's a lot more nutrients in there, and they're made from, organic materials, which fitness enthusiasts tend to like more. So that all probably costed a bit more. But they were selling them at a much higher price point because eating an RX bar made you feel like you were a part of a fitness community. And humans have always had a tendency to want to be a part of something. So purchasing and eating the RX bar was about more than just buying the bar and eating it. It was about being a part of something, and the branding really drove that message into the minds of their consumers. So the key lesson here is that it is possible to take just some boring product, come up with a creative way to market it that allows you to charge a higher price for it and have it appeal to a certain group of people, and then just sell it that way. So anyways, those are just 3 ways you can come up with business ideas. Obviously, it's not an exact science, and there are many, many other ways in which you can do that. The main takeaway I want you to have is that if you want to one day start and own your own business, don't think it just boils down to coming up with some radically innovative new product or service that the world has never seen before. There are many, many ways in which businesses can be successful. There's no secret formula. And like I said at the beginning of this video, the job of a business owner, all you have to think of it as, is just organizing resources in such a way that generates the most money possible. And also keep in mind that this video was mainly about ideas, and ideas are nothing without actual execution, because anyone can come up with an idea, but very few can actually execute on it. So with that in mind, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.